Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mark Daniels Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's my second episode, and I am glad you are tuning in. So once again, I would like to say welcome to everybody. If you're watching on Facebook, welcome on Facebook. If you're watching on my Facebook page, Mark Daniel Comedy, welcome. And if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. And if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like my channel and subscribe. Got to say that. So once again, welcome everybody back to the Mark Daniels Show, episode number 2. Before I kick off, I just want to take a moment right now and acknowledge that COVID has devastated a lot of families just in general. And I want to take a moment to dedicate this show to everyone affected by the pandemic, COVID-19, and especially to my family, my Walt Disney World family. Disneyland is not open. My hearts go out to the cast members that work there. And everybody who have been on furlough and have lost their jobs at Walt Disney World and all theme parks around the world, any line of business. My heart really goes out to anyone that's been affected by the pandemic. But I wanted to take a moment right now before I kick off my show to give you some resources, if you're interested. So the first 2 resources I want to give out are for cast members only. Again, the first 2 resources I want to give out are for cast members only. And it's on Facebook. There's these Facebook groups, 2 Facebook groups I'd like to talk about if you're on furlough or if you received your letter of separation from the company. The first Facebook group I'd like to talk about is, let's see here. I don't know if you're watching on, people are watching, but for some reason I'm not on YouTube right now. It still says it's going to begin in a few moments, but it says that I'm live. So whoever's watching right now, you can hear me. I'll continue on and say that 2 of the Facebook groups that I'd like to mention is Cast Members Helping Cast Members. And that is a group, it's a private group, so you can actually sign in on Facebook and find that group again, Cast Members Helping Cast Members. And what they are going to do in that group is I noticed they share resources to help cast members. And if you have any kind of businesses or services, if you are furloughed and not working, you can offer your businesses for other cast members to use. The other one is Air for Each Other. That's EAR for each other. And again, it's the same type group where you can use a skill or service. You can put that on their website. You can say if you do pressure washing, if you have an Etsy site, you can put your products on there or your services, and other cast members can hire you. Your cleaning services, anything like that. And finally, this is for everyone. A lot of people have reached out to me asking how they can help, and this is for everyone. So this is castmemberpantry.com. That's, again, castmemberpantry.com. Now, this is a website you can go to, and they actually take donations. And this is a good site because it really helps cast members that are not working. It is definitely a food pantry, and they use all their donations to pay for non-perishable food. And cast members that are not working or furloughed can actually get food once a month. And so, again, those are the 2 Facebook groups, Cast Members Helping Cast Members and Air for Each Other. Look those up on Facebook. And finally, if you are not a cast member and you still want to help, there is castmemberpantry.com, and they take donations. So look that up. And many other charities are out there. I invite you to look, do your own research. And if you find a charity that really speaks to you, definitely give to it, because we can all use a little help right now. So now on with the show. Hopefully I'm on YouTube now. So this show is exciting because it is Halloween. Tomorrow is Halloween, one of my favorite holidays. And I'm going to talk to a good friend of mine. He is a very funny guy. He is an actor. He is a voiceover artist. And not only that, he is a master of all trades. I mean, he's a prop master and he's a makeup artist. So right now I'd like to bring on to the show a good friend of mine, Mr. Graham Murphy. Graham Murphy, how you doing?
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
It's going well, man. Welcome to the Mark Daniels Show.
I'm honored to be here. Guest number 2.
Yeah, you are guest number 2. So welcome. I was so happy that you said yes to this, especially because this is the Halloween episode, Graham. So Graham, I was talking you up. I talked about you being an actor, a voiceover artist. I talked about your prop making, and I talk about your makeup, which we'll get into later on. I'm really excited because you can do one of my favorite things on the show, and that is a live tutorial, and I'm excited about that.
Yes, yes. A quick down and dirty makeup. Just
Mhm.
a little good last minute zombie for the folks.
Yeah, yeah, and when I was a kid, I used to love that. Like news stations would have that. The night before Halloween, they'd give you a last minute makeup ideas.
Yes, yes.
And I am a fan of makeup and that genre of movies, horror makeup, and all that. So I was very, very excited. But like I said, I started talking about you, and I started talking about your acting career. Let's talk about that. Because I first knew you as an actor. So when did you get the acting bug there, Graham?
Well, my mom taught theater in high school, and so I grew up watching her plays. She exposed me to the arts right away, and I knew early on that that's what I wanted to be, was an actor. And makeup is kind of my interest in makeup is kind of a byproduct of that, because as you know, as an actor, quite often we're relied upon to do our own makeup for shows. And so that's where, and because my mom's exposing me to the theater, she exposed me to theatrical makeup. We started going to makeup stores, but I was really kind of hooked on acting just at an early age. I was performing when I was in grade school.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the performances, you said you did theater. Do you remember your first, in grade school? Do you remember your first production? Can we go back that far?
Yes, I was the cobbler who cobbled shoes and fell asleep, and elves finished them in the middle of the night. That was probably in third grade.
Wow! So at third grade, you got the acting bug there.
Third grade, and then junior high school, and then high school. Studied in high school, and then studied in college.
And speaking of college, we have a picture up here. This is a very young Graham Murphy here in East LA. Tell us a little bit about this. Is this college here, or is this high school?
This was this was actually professional theater. This was after I did grad school. This would be summer of '91. And it was a festival of Southern theater in Oxford, Mississippi. And that lady right there has done pretty well for herself. That's Kate Walsh. And she's phenomenal. Wonderful actress. And every now and then we drop each other a line. But yeah, this was my first, that picture there, my first job when I hit Orlando. When I moved in '92, I worked at the Mark II Dinner Theater.
Oh, I remember that. How many viewers out there remember the Mark II Dinner Theater here in Orlando?
Yes. And that's a still from Arsenic and Old Lace. It starred Mary Jo Catlett, who the kids might know as Mrs. Puff from SpongeBob SquarePants. And Barry Pearl, who was Duty in the movie version of Grease. And directed by Michael Edwards, local actor who also played Uncle Teddy in it. It was a great experience. And that was my first professional gig when I moved to Orlando.
Wow, you're rubbing elbows with some pretty famous people there, Graham.
Yeah. I did all right. And now this is from grad school. This was my master thesis project. It was a production of Uncle Vanya. And yeah, that's about 40 pounds ago.
I see those sideburns there. Is that natural? Or is that some makeup you did yourself?
The sideburns were natural. I had the goatee, but I added a little theatrical hair to handlebar the mustache out.
And speaking of theatrical hair,
oh yeah. Yes.
Now, not only that, we can get into it a little bit, but you're also a big Star Wars fan. I mean, a Star Trek. Ooh, man, I can't believe I said that, but it's okay.
Both.
Yeah, you're both. Just like me.
I have no hate for either. I love both. And this was, I made that Klingon headpiece, the bone ridge, and laid the hair. This is a Klingon comedian character called Gorzo that we did for Geeks of Comedy, a stand-up show that was usually at MegaCon once a year. And people like Patty Hawkins, Will Hageman, Kevin White, Alan Forbes would get together, and they'd do stand-up sets based on geek, culture.
Geek culture, yeah.
And so I was the MC and did little things as Gorzo the Klingon clown. So that kind of and now the Klingon weather report. Today is a good day to die.
Loving it, man. And you're enjoying your fandom. And speaking of fandom, I did say Star Wars and not Star Trek, but we're going to move on to Star Wars right now.
Sure.
Take a look at this, right?
I had the honor of, now that's not my makeup in all honesty. That was makeup, a prosthetic created by Andy Wright, a very fine makeup artist in town, owns the company Metamorphosis. And that was, I played the Emperor in the Hyperspace Hoopla and Star Wars Weekends. And that shot is actually from a film session for Disneyland Paris. For their Star Wars evening celebration, they do a huge projection on the side of their Tower of Terror. And so they worked me in as the Emperor doing Force lightning on Luke Skywalker on Mark Hamill. So
now I got to tell you something. You're very humble, but Hyperspace Hoopla during Star Wars Weekends at Disney's Hollywood Studios was a huge fan favorite. I mean, people would line up to wait to see that show, and you were part of the show. People would just line the streets waiting for that show. And I got to tell you, Graham, you as the Emperor was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen.
It was a blast. It was a blast. I had done the voiceover for the Emperor for the past 2 Hyperspace Hooplas, and they just had an actor in a pullover mask, just kind of lip sync and move his body around. And then on the last year of it, they said, why don't we just put Graham in the prosthetics? And then usually you see they hired a dancer and they put the mask on them. And I said, but I don't dance. And they said, don't worry, we've got that written into the show where you have a fake double do your dancing for you. And that's how you get disqualified and the good guys win, that kind of thing. But it was a blast to do, an absolute blast.
And, and what a way to close it out too, being the last Star Wars Weekends and being actually not just your voice, but you actually physically in it. So
yes,
really cool.
Yes.
And
wow.
I also did this show many years ago, but you did it before me. This is World Showcase Players at Epcot, a legendary show, and one of the reasons SAC Comedy Lab is in Orlando, Florida.
That's right. That's right. The World Showcase Players trunk shows, they were for people who have been to Ren fairs, how people come out and they have a trunk and they lay down a rope and they've got costume and set pieces and they do a little farce. Well, they did that at Epcot, and SAC Theater developed those original shows and those original scripts. This was a picture from France. We were doing Cyrano's de Bergerac, and that would have been 1993, thereabouts. Yeah, so that's a while ago.
Wow, yeah. And that was a fun show. I luckily was able to be a part of that show as well. A show I didn't know you were a part of, though, was another show I did, but it's about you, Graham, the Comedy Warehouse Improv show.
That was the first thing I was hired for in Disney in 92. I was hired as a sub while I was doing shows at the Mark II Dinner Theater, and then went on to do Merlin at the Sword and the Stone, the Magic Kingdom. And then right around that time, then I started subbing a lot. So that would have been in 93 as well, and 93 and 94. And I was working Comedy Warehouse 94 when I was offered Adventurers Club.
Let's talk about that, because I think
Sure.
I think this moves you on to where people know you. I mean, tell us about this character. When I see this character, I see you. It had to be fun. Tell us a little bit about this character and the Adventurers Club in general.
The Adventurers Club, Tim Goodwin once described it, I think, best. It was like Mad Magazine meets National Geographic. It was all these zany stock characters that would entertain in this club that was, you walk into it and there's artifacts and things strewn. It's 1937. It's New Year's Eve. It's their open house membership drive, and they take you into different rooms, and the masks would come to life in the mask room, and there was a comedy and tragedy mask that would perform, kind of like a vaudeville team. There was a floating head of a genie in the treasure room. There was a bigger library where they would do the larger shows and musicals. And the character I'm playing there, I'm in the bottom right. That's Hathaway Brown, Club Aviator.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate enough to do all 5 male roles before the club closed.
Mm-hmm.
It was like being at a party and entertaining for 6 hours and not having to clean up afterwards. It was a blast. You got to schmooze out in the audience, be a smart aleck, get lots of people's laughs. And then there was several puppets. You go behind a wall and you'd puppeteer an old Raj type British colonel, and the colonel was great because you could say things to the audience. You could do insult humor, which you can't do face to face to people punch you. But as the colonel, you could say outrageous things to people and they just laugh and, hey, the colonel insulted me. Yay. It was just a lark. It was unlike any other job I've done. It was scripted shows and improv shows, but you were encouraged to augment and ad lib.
And what I remember about the show too, Graham, is that it was a favorite. I think it was a favorite of like Robin Williams. Anytime he came into town, he would just come and watch the show. Is that true?
Yeah, he would come in. John Lasseter, head of Pixar, just loved the place and lobbied quite hard to keep it, but he couldn't talk the bean counters who wanted to turn everything on Pleasure Island into shops and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't dissuade them. But yeah, we had Leslie Nielsen loved the club. He had this little hand fart machine that he would go up to people and make it seem like they broke wind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, all sorts of celebs came in out. We even got one time we got George Lucas.
Wow.
Came in with his kids, and that was a blast.
And I think as a tribute to the Adventurers Club, there is a restaurant called Jacques Lindsay's.
Yes.
At downtown at Disney Marketplace or Disney Springs, and there's a picture of the cast of the Adventurers Club hidden within that in that restaurant.
There's all sorts of little Adventurers Club nuggets in there. We used to have this huge stone face on the wall called Babylonia, and Babylonia is in a crate up in a loft, kind of peeking out in the background. If you go there, you can find Babylonia. You can find on your way to the bathroom, if you look in the window, you'll see, I think, Samantha Sterling's passport. She was our club adventurer. And if you look, like you said, look on the walls, you'll find, with Jock Lindsay, who is an Indiana Jones character, you'll find mingled in there a lot of people you saw in that previous picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I want to do is I want to get into, we're talking about props, you're talking about Babylonia. You're also a prop master. And one thing is, that's when I got to know you, is that you actually made this prop for me when I was in Dinoland, USA. This is, I specialized in the Velociraptor. and my character wore Toronto Raptors basketball jersey, and I needed basketball shoes. And tell us about this. I kind of was like, hey, I want a Raptor Claw, and next thing I know, I had it. And you were the man that made it happen.
How wonderful that they worked with you, that the director and creative team worked with you to find out what you wanted. And so the Raptor Claw was made of a latex rubber skin, and then it's filled with foam rubber, and it had snaps in it that you could remove it from the shoe and snap it on. I have the mold for that right here. It's a 3-piece mold. Everything starts out as a sculpture in clay, and you sculpt what you want in clay, and then this is a plaster mold that was made of it. I don't know if you can see with the glare or not, but
there's a lot of glare, but
there's the Raptor
the claw is in there.
Shape of the Raptor Claw there, and then this is the other part of the claw, and then this was the back that had little spaces for the snaps, and then liquid latex is poured into that liquid rubber, swished around, and then it's dried, and then I shot a 2-part expanding soft polyfoam inside, and then when it all set up, opened up the mold, peeled it out, painted it up, and then that's what you see on the screen there. Wow.
And not only that, you made my dream come true. Tony Giordano directed my little Star Wars shorts, and I needed a Dianoga.
Yes.
And you yes.
Yeah, that was made on. You gather a lot. There it is.
Oh, there it is. I still have it. Yeah. This says a lot about your props because they still exist and they still are beautiful.
Well, I'm glad you like it. Mm-hmm. Someday I want to borrow that from you. I want to fix the paint job on it. You're never done fiddling with stuff, I find. But
yeah, I noticed that. You're always like, Mark, you have your shoes? Can you bring it in? I need to do something.
But yeah, the Dianoga, that's made, now that was a build. I didn't make a sculpture first and then a mold. That was all built up out of muslin and liquid latex. Mm-hmm. And there's PVC pipe there and a ball, like some sort of plastic sports ball of some sort. And then it was all paint, latex and gauze. I used latex, gauze, and muslin, and then that was the sculpt, and then a paint job on top of it.
And this here, I want to talk. You're a sculptor too, as well. Look at this. And any Star Trek fan is already laughing at this, sure. Right?
That's Lieutenant Worfel.
Worfel.
Yeah. I had made a Lieutenant Worf mask, and then when I took the plaster off, because I was going to make that's a full overhead rubber mask, and so I made a regular one, and then when I pulled the mold off of it, the clay was still intact, so I thought, let me sculpt a waffle on there. And Michael Dorn saw it, and he got a big kick out of it. I got him to autograph one.
Oh wow!
Which I wish I hadn't sold, but. Yeah.
Now I'm going to show a picture here. This is one of my favorite horror films, Phantasm, and this is Patty Hawkins, and he'll be your subject for this for the makeup. And he's in a lot of your pictures. Is he usually your subject?
I am blessed in that Patty Hawkins does fun and unusual cosplay. And he comes to me and goes, "Hey Graham, can you do a Phantasm ball?" Yeah. "Hey Graham, can you do this?" And it's just fun. It's just like, oh, wow. I can hardly wait for the next thing. And that was made from, I believe, a Christmas ornament, a big Christmas ornament ball. And then I tricked out I did a little sponge rubber thing for the screw. And I think it's just wood with some aluminum tape for the little spears that go inside the head. Great.
Now, It is, and it's a very scary movie. I remember I being terrified when I watched it when I shouldn't have, when I was in like elementary school. So this is the movie is Phantasm, and these balls float around down like hallways of mausoleums, right? And they're deadly. They chase you down, and they do what they are doing right now to Patrick. The only difference is that drill goes into you just like it does, and the blood shoots out the back of
the back of the ball,
and just drains you. It's very, very terrifying. And let's take a look at this. Some props. This is a prop hat.
Yes, that is. I did the eagle on that. That is the Commissar character from Patrick. What's the
Warhammer 40,000?
Warhammer 40,000, and that was a piece made from epoxy putty, sculpted it out of an epoxy putty, so that it could. And then gave it there's some great metallic paints out there. If you give something a gloss coat, and you can spray they're a model maker group, company called Alclad makes this great spray paint. Oh yes, okay, that was a severed head from Reefer Madness. That was the actress of whose severed head it was supposed to be. At one point in Reefer Madness, severed head bounces down a staircase. So that's made out of, again, I took a cast of the actress's face and then then poured it up in plaster and then resculpted a little bit of it in clay, and then made a silicone mold and then cast it up in a 2-part soft polyfoam. And then painted it and put the wig on it. So that was ass.
And this is look at this. I mean, it's not just makeup as well, props of heads and
that is again. Patty came to me and said, "Hey, I have this Highlander katana, and I need it to be soft for cosplay." And so that is my duplication of it in soft foam. I took a mold of the original and then cast it up in soft foam, and then the fun was trying to get it to look like ivory with the paint job.
I had to put this up because of Pleasure Island. Right? So any Pinocchio fans out there, Pleasure Island is from Walt Disney's Pinocchio. And when the kids were turning into donkeys, so is this a lost boy? Was it not a lost boy, but is this a kid going to Pleasure Island?
This is actually Bottom from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh,
there's a character called Bottom who turns into a donkey, gets enchanted, and wakes up, and he's a donkey, and he thinks he's just the most beautiful thing on earth, and people are fawning all over him, but he has no idea that he has had an ass made of him. He's made an ass of himself.
So what I want to get into before we get into the makeup tutorial, I want to get into your section of you being a makeup artist, and I want to talk about your inspirations, and it's very close. Like I said, I love makeup. It's been a passion for me to watch. I love watching behind the scenes. So what I want to do is I want to bring up a couple people, and you want to talk about, because my show is also about finding that inspiration, Graham, when you can't find it, or finding the inspiration when you're working. Where do you find that inspiration, And you've done a lot, and you're very talented. So I'm sure, I'd like to know, what I'm going to bring some of these pictures up, and who inspired you, and what did you like about them,
Sure.
So the first person I'd like to bring up right now is a big inspiration is this guy right here, Dick Smith.
Dick Smith. They call him the Godfather of Makeup. He did The Exorcist. He won an Oscar for a beautiful old age makeup on F. Murray Abraham as Salieri in Mozart. Amadeus, thank you. And he did the great makeups and bladder effects in altered states. He's a person he was a true innovator in the craft, and he wrote down everything he did. He was a scientist about it, very methodical. And the most important thing is he was generous with his information. He believed in no secrets of his own. He just gave all of his information away at a point where it was hard to, everybody kind of had their trade secrets and they held on to them. Like, no, I'm not going to give you my secrets. Those are mine. And he was generous. And because of his generosity, you get tremendous makeup artists that were under his tutelage, like Tom Savini and Rick Baker and Craig Reardon, and so many people have found their own voice because of his generosity.
Mm-hmm. And here he is. This is one of the people you mentioned.
Yes, Rick Baker. He, gosh, I think he has a record 7 Oscars. His first being for American Werewolf in London, and he did Harry and the Hendersons. All the character makeups on Coming to America. The last thing he did was the first Maleficent movie. He engineered Angelina Jolie's makeup.
Oh, wow. And
there's Tom Savini, and then you can see the actual Worf mask that I made before I made the Warfel there. So Tom Savini, who I've been fortunate enough to become friends with, he comes to Disney and I see him whenever he comes, he and his family. Tom Savini is, again, one of those people that is extremely generous with his know-how, and even has a school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Lon Chaney.
Now this is
Lon Chaney Sr.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me hold that up there. Let's see this. Let's take a look at that.
Look at that. That's a model kit. That's a model kit of Lon Chaney Sr. with his makeup case and the 3 of his characters. There's the Phantom of the Opera. There's the Man in the Beaver Hat from London After Midnight, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Wait a minute, but Graham, I got to tell you, that sculpture is amazing. Any makeup artist, that is insane. This
was a garage kit of. Now I didn't put this together. This was actually gifted to Patrick, and Patrick's let me put it on display. But this is wild. They're very hard to find these nowadays, but it's great for makeup lovers because inside the makeup box there's like his false teeth and eyeballs and all the makeup is just lovingly represented there. With scans of pictures on all around of all of his different makeup.
Well, that is amazing.
Lon Chaney Sr. was not just an extraordinary makeup artist. He was a fantastic actor. And I urge people to go look at his catalog of stuff because it's the emotions the emotions that he can portray are just awe-inspiring. Yeah.
And we have, of course, the classic. This movie has spawned amazing remakes and one of my favorite films of all time. But the makeup at the time was groundbreaking, right?
Yeah. Planet of the Apes. It was, and that's what a lot of makeup artists, me included, will say was a really big inspiration. The ape makeups in that movie where they could still emote and emotion could still come through the eyes and the mouths would move, and when you go ooh, they would collapse into an oh. It was just amazing. And that was John Chambers and his crew that developed that. John Chambers did the first manufactured the Spock ears for Mr. Spock.
Oh, and so when you have something like that, those have a name. It's a nose, it's an ear, it's a chin, it's a forehead.
Yeah. and I will show you here. It's they call it appliance makeup. This is a wolf, but it's pretty much the way the Planet of the Apes makeups were done. A brow ridge. I'm going to see if maybe I can make it a little dimmer here so it's not as bright. Let's see. But yeah, this is a foam rubber piece, and it would be glued onto the face like that, and you'd still be able to crinkle your head and eyebrows and furrow your eyebrows. And that starts as a clay sculpture. You have a cast of the actor's face, and then you sculpt in clay what you want. You pour plaster around it, like so. And so this is the two-part mold for that wolf makeup. You mix up what's called foam rubber. So you take latex and you basically turn it into a meringue, and then it pours into the mold. There's other chemicals in it that keep it from breaking down. And you pour it into the bowl of the mold, and you put the positive in it, and then you bake it in an oven. And then when it's done, you get an appliance.
You have that,
and then that's glued to the actor's face, and then colored. Oh, and I just saw there. You had a few, yes, that's a friend of mine, Linwood Sasser, as a character called Sunny Blue, and the makeup appliance there is a penguin nose I actually made for him for a like Danny DeVito penguin. And then he put that on, and then a couple of prosthetic horns like these. These are appliance horns. And then he had some ear tips that don't really glue on, and then did that character.
So I was kind of, while you were talking and showing your foam latex, I was kind of showing some of your work as you were talking there, because I'm really ready to get to your live makeup demonstration.
Okay, all right.
So this is going to be, like you said, a down and dirty zombie makeup.
Yes, quick. If you're stuck and you have want a last minute idea for a makeup tomorrow, we can do a zombie makeup. May I have my trusty assistant, please? And this will be Patrick Hawkins. There, have a seat right there, Patrick. Now let me move my camera. There you go.
Oh, yeah, television? Oh.
Television, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Patty Hawkins.
Welcome, Patty. How you doing, Patty?
I am good. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. We loved watching your all the makeup that Graham did for you.
Oh, well, he's the genius. Everybody will go to me, wow, it's a great makeup job. I'm like, thanks, my housemate did it for me.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. Okay, so you need to do a makeup in a hurry. Where do you get makeup? Well, not everybody's going to have access to a professional theatrical makeup store. That's best. But you probably have a Spirit in town, a Spirit Halloween. If you run into Spirit, say if you're going to do a zombie makeup, Spirit makes a zombie kit, deluxe makeup zombie kit. It comes with a little color palette there. And it's recommended that for zombies, a lot of people go green or a lot of people go white. If you go white, it looks more like a ghost. It's been recommended by Greg Nicotero. And I sent Mark a link. Maybe Mark will post it later. There's a little article on tips for last minute zombie makeup. He recommends go brown, go like with like a rotted decay look, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to start up with there. They also, Spirit sells this handy little thing. It is a little makeup appliance applicator kit, and it comes with this. This is a palette knife, which you can also pick up at any Joann's or any place that sells paint. it comes in very handy.
You're gonna use a knife on me?
I am. Well, first things first, we want to make sure that the person's face is well moisturized so that the makeup glides on. So, Patrick, I will let you moisturize your face.
Ew.
There you go. Now, what the palette enables you to do is you can adjust colors and you can mix colors a little bit. So we're going to take this kind of sallow.
Am I beautiful yet?
You are. You had a head start. We'll start out with a little bit of this sallow brown and just get a base all on his face. Our lighting's just a little washed out today, so hopefully we can get things to show up. Things will show up better once I start doing some highlights and shadows. And you can also use a brush. Here's a nice, soft, wide bristle brush. I should probably make up the side that's going to be mostly to the camera. So you want to take down the reds. That's what you're after mostly, is taking down the reds. There we go. I've mixed a little brown in there. That's what's going to work for us. Just moving things around with my palette knife. Mm-hmm. And
Patty's very trusting with his eyes closed.
He is. He is. Oopsie daisy.
I've done this dance before.
Yeah. Let's see here.
From my perspective, I kind of like seeing it when it's done.
There we go. Kind of deaden up his face a little bit. There's some other colors that I've gotten on my sponge, but that's okay. That's one of the great things about a zombie makeup is he's dead. So who cares if the skin is uneven? All right. Kill some of the pink in the ears. All right, what we're going to do now is we're just going to kind of thing about being a zombie is your skin's kind of shriveling up a little bit and hugging onto your skull. You're losing all the meat in your face. So we want to bring the skull out. And by doing that, we will do a little bit of shadow work here. Like, let me get we'll do a little shadow at the temple. If you have pictures of a skull, a little reference of a skull, you'll see what's sunken in and what pops out. The skull anatomy has got these shapes in it. So you get a little shadow there, and then you drag it up to let it blend into the skin. And then we'll sink the cheeks in a little bit.
And that's your painting right under the cheekbone?
Yeah, under the cheekbone. You can kind of see on a face where it's happening. And you can either blend with your fingers, or you can go in with a sponge and drag it down a little bit. And we'll sink in the eyes a little bit there.
And again, this makeup is when you're sinking in, you're going in the cheeks and everything. Again, the zombie makeup is the skin is sinking in back into muscle loss, and it's sinking back onto the skull. So that's why we're seeing the skull through the skin.
Exactly right. We're bringing out the anatomy of the skull. And put a little shape there. Let's do that top eyelid. And I'm going to just go ahead and match the other side really quick while I've got them here. So I sent along with you, Mark, a link from Greg Nicotero, who is he's the head makeup artist for The Walking Dead. And he's got some great suggestions for people doing their own zombie makeups. And he's the king of zombie makeups right now.
Yes.
He's one of the partners for K&B Effects. And they're the ones that have, Greg Nicotero does The Walking Dead. His partner, Howard Berger, is doing the Orville right now. And it's all the same company. All right. And then we'll blend things up a little bit.
I got a great question here.
Sure.
Mouse Ears and Magic Podcast, they're asking me, I've had things done like this, right? So what's it like to sit there and turn into a work of art? So we'll put that to Patty. Patty, what's it like to sit there and just, become a monster or whatever you envisioned?
About 3 days ahead of Christmas, when you're close and all the presents are under the tree except for the ones Santa brings, and it's that anticipation where you feel them, you shake them, and you wonder, and that's what it's like. You sit there, like I said, I keep my eyes closed. I can open them, and I still don't know what I look like. But if I look in the monitor, I'll give away to it. But to me, it's the wonder and the anticipation of when I finally get up and can go in front of the mirror, and I go, "What?"
He likes the surprise.
When he's transformed me into the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Vincent Price from the Abominable Dr. Phibes, and several other characters. So it definitely is art, but of course it's a horror geek, variant of art.
There, you want to turn full front a little bit to the camera, and people can see him working on the other side a little bit.
So we could see the brows standing out. We could see the sunken cheeks, the sunken eye sockets.
And our lighting's not doing us the best of favors, but we will press on.
And that's a great point. That's a great point, Graham. Like, especially in theater and with makeup, lighting plays a big part. You're losing a lot because you just have one big, I'm sure, white, bright light on Patty right now. But usually you would have different colors of lighting and stuff to really bring out the shades and the different colors within the makeup.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can adjust the light away a little bit and see if that doesn't help bring it out a little bit more. Yeah, it does. There, that's good. Okay, and then go in with some yellow to highlight. Gives that very unhealthy look. Let's see here.
So especially while you're a zombie, is it like, Patty, you're getting your zombie makeup on, and it's also going to be what you wear, right? So you have your makeup on, but do you think about what kind of zombie I was? Like, was I a teacher? How did I die? Did I die from the disease, or did I die before the disease? Like, What would you say about this character right now if you had to make up his story?
It would honestly, I would have to. I couldn't really begin that until I see what Graham's done to me. You know,
Gotcha.
Graham lighting the fuse, and then I would do the costumery, and then it also depends too how I mess up my hair, or if I would even mess it up. You know, am I a fresh zombie? Am I a moderate zombie? I've been a zombie for 6 months, so there's a lot of factors. In this case, or something like this, for like a Halloween type setting, yeah, this is where. This is definitely the egg, and then the costuming and the character would be the chicken, as opposed to a professional, like a theatrical or movie thing where it's like, oh no, this is the zombie that's gonna do this, so he's got to look like this.
And Patrick, are you a fan of the zombie genre?
I am, but I'm not a fan of everything that's a part of the zombie genre, if that makes sense. I like what I think is the good stuff. Put it this way, I'm a classic walking Romero era zombie. I'm not too big on running zombies.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I prefer the slow dread as opposed to the quick death.
I had the chance to interview. Of course, we all were part of Spooky Empire. For you viewers out there, Spooky Empire is a horror. What would you say? A convention for people that love the horror genre. I know, Patrick, you're a big part of it. Graham, I was luckily got to be a part of it as well. I think, Patrick, you actually did something very interesting that I was a part of. It was a improv horror show, right? It was we did a story, and tell us a little bit about that. I remember it was a lot of fun.
That was a Geeks of Comedy, which is still around, mostly doing stand-up at the conventions, and everybody, the comedians and performers, tailor their humor to sort of match the audience. And as an experiment, we did a Spooky Empire that one year, so we did some horror geek stand-up, and that was fun. And then we partnered up with several very talented improvisers in town, and we did I'm not sure if I call it long form. I call it medium form. I think we went about 15 minutes, which I think is good for something like that. And we did a horror movie. I brought out a bunch of like random like costumery and props, and we took the ideas from the audience, and how's this person gonna die? How's that person gonna die? And I'm still very proud of that show.
And we were part of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. That lower lip has got to look unhealthy. So we will brown that up.
Yeah, and Spooky Empire is doing a small show in December. They're going to test out the waters of doing a small event with lots of safety factors involved with it for social distancing and stuff. So be interesting to see how that pans out.
All right, we're almost to the pièce de resistance. Take a look at full front to the camera there, and you can see I put down some marks like, he's been eating entrails, so
got it.
Dirty. Look at me again. And
Graham, I have a question here. Every artist has their own technique and vision. How did you form yours, and when did you realize that you can actually make a career out of doing makeup?
Well, it was actually I was exposed to it in theater a lot, and that's what really got me experimenting, because I got to do a lot of different characters. And kids go to the drugstore and buy some translucent powder anywhere in the cosmetic department, and a powder puff, and we'll take down the shine a little bit. You always need to powder makeup to set it. The color's set and it becomes permanent. Well, not permanent until you wash it off. It sets all the colors together, and then it also takes the shine down.
Notice that he pats it down thoroughly, as opposed to the old cartoon sitcom.
Makeup!
Pow!
First, I guess the most accurate way is I copied people first. I copied people that I liked first, the way that they did things. And then through copying people, the masters, after you copy the masters, then you kind of go, oh, I think I can add this little twist in here. I can do this there. And then you start finding your own things. And this is another thing you can get at Spirit. It is called Bloody Scab.
Ooh, okay.
And it's great. You can put little dollops on that and then just add that, smear it down with a little palette, with your palette knife that you got. And you can do all sorts of neat things, get some blood coming out of the ears.
Patty, you're looking pretty gross right now, I got to say.
Yeah. And, like maybe there's been wounds and scabs all over the poor sucker for a while. And we're just about at a point where we take a look at it and we see what it needs.
I only did the routine a few times in stand-up, but I had a chunk about when does a zombie stop eating a cadaver, and is it a faux pas to keep eating it when the victim's become a zombie? Excuse me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't notice you had turned.
Just following them around.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, some bloody scabs. And then I think probably the last thing would be to do just a little bit of dark on. This also comes in your makeup kit. This is a stipple. Stipple sponge. And with the stipple sponge, you can go over it and
just give it texture, right?
Texture, make it look a little dirtier.
And like you mentioned, everything here can be bought at Spirit.
Yes. Yes, you can pick this up. You still have time. You can go to Spirit, get these kits. And have some fun with it.
And tell us the colors you used again, Graham. The colors you used for the base, and then the shadows and the.
This came with two different kinds of brown, like a light brown and a dark brown, and kind of a mustard yellow. We're not using the red because we're going to let only the blood be the red. So that's.
Got it.
Let's see. Let's just maybe have some fun and drag some of that down. Make them look a little messier rather than regular. And you can always go back in with your base and knock down some areas that maybe you thought you got a little too much on of a wrong color. And let's see, let's just do, we will add one reddish color. This is also another palette you can get at Spirit. Has all the primary colors. Open your mouth there, Patrick, just lightly. We'll put, make a kind of a purple lower lip there.
My favorite is how trusting Patty is. Look at this.
Yes.
He just opened his mouth right away.
And then, okay, look at the camera there, Patrick. So
wow.
Quick little zombie makeup. And here's the last little pièce de resistance. You can take mouthwash and mix a little bit of black and brown food color in it. Patty, swirl that around in your mouth. Oh, you can open your eyes. Swirl that around. Here's a bucket for you to spit in. There you go. Rinse and spit. And now, camera, open your mouth.
Wow.
There, open your eyes.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Stick your tongue out. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, I would recommend go ahead when you have the time. This was like a
Beautiful.
Well, I'm wearing a black shirt.
This was a quick one. If we had a little more time, we'd do the neck too. We'd sink in, bring out the cords in the neck.
Mm.
So
Wow. And that mixture again was what? Mouthwash and what else?
that yes, and that if you post links on your page, that formula is in there. It's just mouthwash and then black and or brown food coloring.
All right.
Yeah, liquid food coloring. And there you have it.
Well,
Patty.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Patty, for being the volunteer and the zombie.
Yeah. my privilege to help out both you gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And Graham, thank you so much, man. This was fantastic. I really appreciate it. I hope people got a kick out of it, looking a little bit into your career, seeing the growth of your career, and seeing who inspired you. And maybe we can also look to that and share our inspiration and be inspired by the people around us.
Well, and you're an inspiration to me, Mark. I love that you're doing this at a time where people have kind of sat home and felt sorry for themselves. You've taken lemons and made furniture polish. Good for you.
Well, thank you, and it's an honor for you to be on the show once again. I want to thank you for coming on the Mark Daniels Show. Thank you for sharing your talent with us, Patty. Thank you very much for being a victim. You look horrible, and I mean that as a compliment. And Patty, and of course, Patty, are you doing anything you would like to tell my viewers that they can check out? I know you were doing a podcast of some sort before you came on here.
I've been hosting stuff for GalaxyCon. They switched over to an online format. So I just got done with hosting a Q&A with a reunion of the Monster Squad. Tomorrow on Halloween, I've got reunions at noon of the original Willy Wonka through Surviving Kids and
Wow.
Loompa, Nightmare Before Christmas, Halloween Town, and then Sunday reunions of Clerks, Hocus Pocus, the original Skeletor and She-Ra, and
Oh wow!
one other. It was pretty stacked weekend. So yeah, GalaxyCon.com.
Grant, thank you. And Graham, you're very talented. You do a lot of things around Orlando. Is there a place that you can say, because you have some proprietary characters that you can't mention, I understand, but website, things you're up to, any place coming up?
Well, let's see. I can be found as a friend of the Wand Keeper at Ollivander's Wand Shop at Universal Studios, Florida. That's where I can be found.
I see. Yes,
wink, wink.
Hint, hint, and wink, wink.
Yes.
All right. Let me see. I'm trying to bring something up real quick. The reason I'm looking over here is because, let's see here. I had it earlier, but I'm trying to find something. Here we go. Trying to find what you're talking about and just show it before we go. Let's see here. I want to show it before we go.
All right.
Still working on this.
That's okay.
It's coming.
New format.
All right, let's see. New format. Still trying to figure it out. Let's see here.
Hurry up, I'm coming. Hey.
And is it coming up? There it is. Let's see. No, it's not. I'm working on getting it over here. Let's see.
Well,
here.
it's a cool shot with you and the fighter
there. I'm trying to get it in here.
Yes,
Here we go. Here we go. All right. Did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it?
You got it, man.
There it is.
Oh.
Looking very good there. Well, thank you very much, Graham Murphy, for being on the show. It has been an honor talking to you. Thank you so much, and bringing you back on. I hope to talk to you again soon, and I wish you the best, and have a great night. And thank you very much, Patty, and good luck with your hosting.
No, say break a leg.
Break a leg, sorry. Break a leg.
I got to say it 2 more times. Say it one more time. Say it one more
Break
time.
a leg.
Wait.
Break a leg.
All right, that's 3 times. Undone. Thank you, Mark. Break a leg in this endeavor. I'm so glad to see you doing this as well. I've always admired your skills. I've always admired you on stage, and I think this is a really good fit for you.
We're both really big fans.
Oh, well, thank you so much. All right, well, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
And happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Well, thank you very much. We went a little over 5 minutes over. If you're still hanging in there, thank you so much for watching. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you next time on the Mark Daniels Show. Go out there, be inspired, find people that inspire you. Thank you very much, and have a great night, and happy Halloween, everybody.